Stop it. Stop trying to be perfect. Do the best you can. Get out there and shine your light in the world. There are people out there that need you. They need what you have to offer. I am Gloria Grace Rand, founder of the L.O.V.E Method and author of the #1 Amazon bestseller, Live, Love, Engage: How to Stop Doubting Yourself and Start Being Yourself. In this podcast, we share practical advice from a spiritual perspective on how to live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically, so you can create a life and business with more impact, influence, and income. Welcome to Live, Love, Engage. Namaste. If you are tired of spending hours tweaking your website, second guessing your program prices, or maybe obsessing over every email before hitting that send button, well, today's episode is for you, because we're going to be diving into how perfectionism isn't just a personality quirk or a trait of Virgos like myself. It's actually an old achievement wound that is blocking your business flow. And if you stick around, you're going to get some practical tools to be able to heal that. But first, I want to welcome you to Live, Love, Engage, especially if this is your first time. I am Gloria Grace, the founder of Align to Shine Academy, and I work with spiritually minded women entrepreneurs, helping them break free from self-doubt and really step into their highest potential. And I am quite familiar with self-doubt. This is definitely something that I've had to overcome in my life. And one reason is because it does fuel perfectionism, which I'm already naturally inclined to be one, to be a perfectionist, because I am a Virgo. I was born in September. And I also had other circumstances that caused me to want to strive to be the best, to be perfect in different areas. And part of it is because of my upbringing. I did grow up in a household. God bless both my parents, God rest their souls. My dad was an alcoholic, and my mom could be verbally abusive from time to time. And so there was a lot of stress in my house growing up. And so having an older brother or sister and seeing how they navigated, or let's say the tension and fights, frankly, that they would get into with my mom, I decided that my best course of action to survive in the Johnson household, my maiden name is Johnson, would be to, be a good girl, do my best not to screw up, and, get good grades and just be an overachiever. And, it's definitely, it helped a bit. Pretty much got through my childhood pretty well. And, but of course, then it carries on into adulthood. And then, in my business. And that didn't always work out, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, about how that manifests itself, certainly for me, and how it manifests itself for lots and lots of other amazing entrepreneurs out there. So I want to also make you aware, trauma is certainly one cause of what's called perfectionism. Is really, it's a symptom of an achievement wound, really. And so there are other things that can cause this. I mean, one is just society's pressure to succeed, especially, I think even women in particular, we get caught up in this because, frankly, it's still a man's world. And so we're, trying to be able to compete in a man's world. And so sometimes we feel this really pressure to overachieve because of that, trying to break through the glass ceiling. Certainly if you're in the corporate world, it's tough. And, women have made some strides, but it's not not coming very easily, and it seems like we're sliding backwards, frankly, the next few years. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out. Economic pressures as well, because again, to help, you want to be able to succeed. A lot of families out there with kids that both parents have wound up needing to work in order to support their families. Other things that can happen now again, my mom was, I don't know if she was exactly a perfectionist parent. She was just she was under stress, so let's say that. But I know that there are these perfectionist parents, especially I know in some particular cultures where they put a lot of pressure on their kids to succeed and to get all A's. I mean, and an A minus isn't even acceptable. So there's a lot of that. Sometimes comparing one child to another child, or comparing it to peers. I mean, sometimes that happens in school. It's like teachers might compare you to maybe even to a sibling that they taught before, or just to other people in the classroom. So that's kind of some of the causes of it. And there's definitely others, but I think those are some of the more common ones that show up. And so let's get my tongue to work. Let's talk about how that shows up in business. How does that show up? Well, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's things like endless tweaking. Whether it's tweaking your website before you officially have it go online. I've known other business owners who just keep working on it and working on it and working on it, instead of just saying, okay, it's good enough for now, I can fix it later. Because that's the thing. You can always go back in and update things, but just get it out there. I mean, right now, here's a perfect example of me. So I'm getting ready to run my Align to Shine Academy again in a few weeks. And I ran it a couple of months ago, and so I had a landing page all set up for that. And then after the first group of women went through it, they gave me some feedback. And so I've been going in and making changes to that landing page. And I still made some changes to it today because, there were things I wanted to tweak, but it's out there. Somebody can go out there and look at it right now. You can go to aligntoshineacademy.net and see it right now. It's available. In fact, if you would like to overcome self-doubt and want to sign up, there's an early bird special going on right now. So you can do that. But the point is that I didn't just wait to even launch the program until it was perfect. I made it clear to the people who signed up for it that this is a work in progress. I need your feedback to help me make it better. And so I did the best I could, and they gave me some great feedback. And now I know that this next iteration is going to be a lot better. Okay. So that's one way that it shows up. There's lots of other things. Difficulty celebrating wins. You don't give yourself enough credit for having something good happen in your business, or you're overcomplicating simple systems, or now this is one for me: resistance to delegating. Now I know, especially if you are a solopreneur and when you start your business, sure, you want to do everything yourself. Your business is your baby. I get it. I felt that way too. And at a certain point, if you really want to keep growing and serving more people, you have to start learning how to delegate. You've got to start hiring team members. I mean, I did that. I was doing that with this podcast for a while. I hired an editor. I'm not working with one at the moment, but I plan to later this year get back to it. So here's another example of how I have overcome perfectionism. In that the fact that I had to edit 2 parts of this podcast together because I thought, Well, it's a little bit of perfectionism, but I wanted to have it be okay. So I had to cough, and I panicked because I didn't hit the mute button when I coughed, and then I thought anyway, whatever. I decided that to stop the recording, and then I saw that I was okay, but so we're picking it up. And here's the thing, what happens is if you can let go of this need to be perfect. I love that. See, there you go. Let go of the need to be perfect. You can laugh at yourself, number one, and you don't have stress, because that's what happens when you are striving for perfection, is it can really stress you out because you're wanting everything to be just right. But guess what? We're human. We make mistakes. we don't hit the mute button when we think we do, and then we cough, and so now we have to edit that out. But it's okay. So you'll never know. Maybe I'll leave it in. No, I won't. You won't hear the cough. Trust me. I am taking it out. But oh my goodness, yeah. So that's the thing. This is what happens. You've got to be able to uh, let go of it. But and the other part I wanted to talk about too is, so the other reason that you need to, well, no, I'm going to say it. You need to. It's for your own good. It's for your own sanity. It's for your own physical health and emotional health and mental health and spiritual. Because when you are in this perfectionist mode, it actually tends to stifle your divine guidance. And then that cascades into other areas of your business. Then you're not able to attract those wonderful clients that you want to work with, and money isn't flowing to you very well, and you're not being as inspired creatively, and you're fighting off your intuition about what you need to do in your business. So there's a difference, though, between striving for excellence and striving for perfection. Of course, we want to be excellent. We want to do the best that we possibly can in all areas of our life, not even just our business. Of course, we want to strive to be excellent. And as I mentioned before, we're human. We're going to make mistakes. We're not perfect. We're not, even though, and I think I talked about this in the last episode I did, maybe, or was it in a LinkedIn newsletter I posted recently? It might have been that. Follow me on LinkedIn if you're not already. I send out a newsletter every week that relates to some of these podcast episodes and gives you a little more context, a little more detail. And where was I going with this now? I don't know. Oh, well, it's okay. You know what? Yeah. So, excellence and perfectionism. That's right. So yes, you want to strive for excellence, but know that we're not perfect. We are not perfect, even though we are created, I believe, this is my belief, in God's image, and that we are essentially the arms and legs of God walking around on this planet Earth. And we were also given free will and this ability to make choices. And sometimes the choices we make maybe aren't exactly in alignment with what our higher self would want for us. And that's how we learn. And that's how we grow, from making mistakes. And you know what? That's the other big reason. Whoa, yeah, see, that is divine guidance right there. One of the really, really good reasons why it's much better to strive for excellence than perfectionism is come back. What was it? It was because, fudge. I had it and now it just slipped away. Oh, darn. Okay, well, it'll come back. I'm going to trust that whatever that wonderful insight I had that floated away on me too quickly. I should have just spit it out. Okay. All right. It's okay. That's what we have to do. We have to pause. We have to relax. We have to not stress and know that with that, guidance will come. Sometimes it does slip away a little bit. And if it's really meant to be, trust in divine timing and divine wisdom and that it will come back. So whatever it was, I know it was going to be great, but I don't know, maybe God decided go a different way. So I am going to go a different way. Let's talk about healing. Let's talk about healing this perfectionist streak. Yeah. It's a little bit annoying. My ego is kind of going like, but it's okay. So if you've been following me for any length of time, you hopefully know that I talk about something called the L.O.V.E method. And it's something I wrote about in my best-selling book, Live, Love, Engage. But if you're new, you don't know that. So L.O.V.E is an acronym. And the L in love stands for let go and let God. So let go of this need to be perfect. You don't need to have it. You can strive to be the best you can be. And that's all anybody really expects from us. And when, this wasn't the point, but this is another point, is that when you do, you embolden others. Like, let's say if you're doing, maybe you're doing a podcast and you're making lots of mistakes in your podcast, guess what? Maybe someone out there wants to do a podcast, but they're scared and they've been procrastinating, or maybe they're working on it, but they're like, they want it to be perfect. And so they haven't released any episodes yet because they keep recording them over and over again to make sure it's perfect. Well, one of the benefits of not, or let me say, being okay with being not perfect is that person will hear it and say, well, gosh, if they're okay doing it, well, what am I waiting for? Why don't I go out and start getting my message out there? Because you owe it to the people who are going to resonate with you to get your message out there. And if you are hiding your light by striving to be perfect, then you are depriving them of the wisdom and knowledge that you have and that they can benefit from. Whew. Well, that just got me all emotional there. Yeah. Stop it. Stop trying to be perfect. Do the best you can. Get out there and shine your light in the world. There are people out there that need you. They need what you have to offer. And so you are doing them a disservice by waiting to make everything just right. And there's a great quote, and I think it's Napoleon Hill. Yeah, I think Napoleon Hill, who wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, said, "The time will never be just right." It won't. So just do it, as Nike says. Great slogan for a shoe, but it's true. How about just in life? Just do it. Get out there and do it. Okay. So let go. Let God help you. Set realistic standards for yourself. You can limit time on tasks so you're not. Yeah, and in fact, this is one I do. I am like really striving to use my phone, and I set the timer for 30 minutes, and then I get up and I take a break and I go on to something else. You can use something like a planner. I'm using a planner now every day where I have like 4 musts that I have to do. And so I make sure that I get those things done. And then I have time to do other things if I have time. And then if I don't, I don't. And, you can use like SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And practice, this is a big one. Practice self-compassion, okay? Treat yourself with kindness if things don't go as planned. Laugh about it if you can, like I was doing today. I could have just stopped this, I could have just said, screw it. I'm going to record tomorrow because this isn't working. But I think God orchestrated this actually on purpose so that I could really demonstrate to you the beauty of not being perfect. I am striving for excellence, so I am going to edit the things out that don't need to be in there. I will tidy it up a bit, but I'm not going to spend hours on it. I can tell you that for certain. I'm not going to spend hours editing. I can get it done in less than that. One other thing too, I mentioned this earlier. My ego was kind of being a little, and we have that. We have sometimes these self-critical thoughts that come up from time to time. So pay attention to them. Maybe write them down and look at them and say, is this something I really want to believe? Is this really coming from my higher self, or is this, that monkey mind, ego? And then replace it with a positive affirmation. Something like, hey, it's okay that I'm not perfect. I'm on a journey of growth and learning. Let me say that again. So in case you want to write it down, I'm okay that I'm not perfect. I am on a journey of growth and learning. I strive for excellence. I strive for excellence every day. And that's perfect. There's something you could laugh about. Oh, and cultivate gratitude, for everything that you get done that day. Even if you don't get everything done that day, be grateful for what you did. And that's it. That's good enough. And I, again, have realized that I'm forgetting to do some other things on the show today, but it's okay. It's fine. What I would like to invite you to do, though, is commit to doing some sort of practice where you can be good enough this week instead of perfectionism. If this is something that you have trouble with from time to time, it's okay. And what I would encourage you to do, I started a podcast community a couple years ago, and then I kind of let it slide. So I'm endeavoring to rejuvenate it and get it going again. So this would be a great way for you to reach out to me, to be able to share your feedback, share what you're doing today to be good enough and not perfect. So it's really easy to do. You can go to liveloveengage.com. That's it, liveloveengage.com, and join the community. It's a free community. It's on Facebook. Not sure how long it'll be on Facebook, but if you're active on social media, things are a little weird lately, and that's okay. But yeah, I would love for you, because I'd love to connect with you. I feel I know you're out there. I know you're listening. I know you're watching on YouTube, and I love it so much. And I love when I get new reviews on Apple Podcasts, for instance, and it's amazing. And I thank you all for when you do that. But I would really love to be in closer contact with you. I'd love to know, are these episodes really resonating with you? Do you have any ideas for some other topics that I can talk about? So yeah, join, connect with us, connect with me. Let me know what's going on with you. And that's going to do it for this edition of Live, Love, Engage. So I encourage you today to go out and put perfectionism on the doorstep. And instead, I want you to go and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.